Hi, and welcome to my little corner of the cosmic universe. This is High Priestess Indigo, and I'm back with another reading for the collective. So let's start with a prayer, and we're going to jump right on into our subconscious cards. Almighty God, I ask that you allow me to be a clear channel for your message. God, allow only your divine will to be done in this reading. God, I ask that you bind, block any and all negative energy or negative entities, return to sender. God, I also ask that you bless each and every person that finds this video. God, you know their hearts, you know where they are in their journeys. And God, I ask that you bless them. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So let's start with our subconscious cards. Okay. Needing to heal from your ego dissolution. Dissolution. I keep saying dissolution. The process of transcending the ego for spiritual growth, which can be challenging and disorienting. So, ego dissolution. Needing to heal an envy wound. Feelings of resentment or bitterness towards others' successes, possessions, or qualities, reflecting a deep seated sense of inadequacy or unworthiness within oneself, and a tendency to compare and compete rather than celebrate and collaborate. I'll take that top card. Needing to heal from spiritual disconnect, feeling disconnected from a higher power source or spiritual essence. Okay. Needing to address spiritual bypassing, avoidance or of unresolved psychological issues through a focus on spiritual practices. Oof. Needing to address psychic attacks, the perception of negative energies or entities affecting one's spiritual and mental state. Needing to address a grounding deficit, a sense of feeling disconnected from one's physical body in the present moment, often resulting in feelings of spaciousness, disorientation, and difficulty in maintaining focus or stability in daily life. Okay, so those are our subconscious. Now let's have the conscious, and I'm going to use the What's Blocking You deck. So, see. Got here. Holding on. Must release old ties in order to have a fresh start with someone new. Incomplete. You want someone who completes you, but you need to be whole on your own. Indecision. You are afraid to make a mistake, so you won't commit either way. Insecurities. Working on building your confidence and feeling safe in your relationship. Judgment. Don't be too quick to count someone out. Be open and give them a fair chance. Okay, Holy Spirit. Ambivalent. You say you want a lover, but you're not all in. Take time to figure out what you want. So this is somebody that's really feeling indecisive. Soulmate only. You have many soulmates who will be great for you. There's not just one. Getting crumbs. You deserve more than crumbs of affection. Wait for the one who adores you. This reading is for Divine Feminine. No good ones. There's someone out there for you. Don't let this false belief make you miss out. Not being you. You're trying to project a perfect image, but it's not really you. Be yourself. Okay, so this reading is for Divine Feminine who's currently kind of torn between whether or not she wants to let go of a previous relationship or connection. I feel like this is somebody that you have a lot of history with this person. Maybe you guys um, kind of did this off and on thing for a while. But it's something about this situation that has just left you feeling like incomplete. And I feel like that's mostly because in this situation that you were in, you were getting crumbs. Like this is somebody that was breadcrumbing you. This is somebody that was constantly leaving you in a place of limbo, and it really contributed to your own insecurities about yourself and your self worth. I feel like you're currently indecisive about whether or not you really want to completely let go of this situation. Yeah, I mean, indecision and ambivalent came out. So I mean, these are literally like very big, two very big cards that's really expressing how like torn you are. Like you really are going through in your mind. I feel like you're kind of almost in a mental prison about it. You recognize on one hand that you should be going towards somebody who would be more of soulmate energy, because I think you already know that this past situation is not it for you, and you've been holding on to it. But I think it's more because there's fear, but I feel like there's underlying self-esteem issues that made you feel like you had to settle for this person who was giving you crumbs. And even though you're not fully happy in this situation, it's what you know. You like there's a part of you that's still very comfortable with holding on to the situation. And as a result, like of your ambivalence and your indecision, there's almost kind of a little bit of a F all men kind of energy that you're giving off a little bit. Because you really are like, oh, there are no good men out here. There's really, they're all, you know, I have girlfriends that's like, oh, men ain't nothing but ish. And, but that's not true. There's a lot of good men out in the world. There's a lot of great men out in the world. I mean, that's like anything. Like, we can only attract in our highest level of healing. So if you're not healing or you're not fully healed, you tend to attract people that reflect whatever it is that you feel about yourself. And I feel like you're somebody that's still like the subconscious stuff. I feel like you've started something of a spiritual practice, but you're somebody that is able to, how do they say, you talk the talk, but you're not fully walking the walk. Like you started, but there's still like a disconnect between um your top level conscious understanding of spiritual practice and then your soul level of your spiritual practice. I feel like you're still very much needing to go through an ego death is what I'm getting. Like you're still very disconnected from yourself, and you've started getting some starts of the ego death, which is why you understand spirituality, but you haven't really dug deep into your healing because you're still feeling very disconnected. And I feel like your envy wound is mostly related, it's coming from your fears around love. Like you see couples and you tend to have a little bit of an envy of couples who are in love, but that's because of this kind of like cycle that you've been in of holding on to this past relationship with somebody who I feel like you've done this song and dance with this person quite a bit. And so that's why it's kind of like I'm not really understanding why how you're still feeling ambivalent or indecisive about it, because I think on a logical level you already understand that this person is not it, that they're never going to give you more than crumbs, and that you really do deserve true soulmate love, but you're stuck in a form of like comfortable um like I said, it's still given like you're still not fully, your self-worth is not fully where it should be, because I feel like you understand, but you're not putting, like, you understand in your mind that you deserve better, but it hasn't translated to your heart fully because you're still kind of like I said, you're doing this song and dance with this person. As a result, it's kind of left you closed off to any new love. And when you do meet people, you judge them very quickly, and you're a little dismissive of people because you're fearful of getting your heart broken again. But part of why you're fearful of getting your heart broken again is because you're still holding on to energetically, even if you may have physically cut this past person off, but energetically you're still holding on to this person, and you're still in indecision, and you're still feeling incomplete, and your insecurities are doing a number on you. I feel like it's kind of got you in a cycle, like a repeating cycle where you tell yourself, I deserve better. I should be with somebody that's going to treat me right. But at the same time, your fear and your judgment of others, like I said, when you meet people, you have kind of a bit of a wall up because you're guarded because of this past situation. And so as a result, you're not really being yourself because you're not really healing fully. Like you haven't really stepped into your full self-esteem yet. And so you're giving the image of, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing me. I'm good. But like it feels like a mask you're wearing. Like you're just you're scared to take this, you're scared to put yourself out there is what I'm getting. Like you just keep telling yourself like, oh, like okay, thank you. Sorry. What I'm getting to is you're kind of, when you think about putting yourself back out there, you hold on to the past as a protective mechanism, like as a almost as a covering to keep you from getting your heart hurt. But the past is actually where you got your heart hurt, because this past person really just, I mean, I hate to say it, like this was somebody that was, I felt like they were using you. Like there was no genuine love this person had for you. It was very transactional for this person. I feel like they're not capable of loving somebody. They're not capable of giving anything more than breadcrumbs to somebody. And I think you know that, but somehow you're still holding on to it energetically. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you still need to do your work, but you're telling yourself it's too much work. That, you almost want to, I feel a very clear feeling like you're almost hiding away from relationships, and you're almost like hiding away from yourself right now. I feel like you're kind of gotten into your routine of like, you go to work, you hang with your friends, you do the things you like, but you're tiptoeing around this heartache. You're tiptoeing around really healing yourself fully, because it feels overwhelming when you start tapping into those deeper subconscious things that need to heal, and the wounding and stuff like that. I feel like once you start like even getting close to that arena, that's when you kind of run back to what feels comfortable to you to hold on to, and that's this past energy that you know doesn't serve you anymore. So you're kind of keeping yourself in a limbo. You're scared to move forward, but you know you can't go backwards. You know you need to heal, but you're kind of telling yourself it's too much work. But I feel like if you can get out of that cycle, if you could just take a leap of faith on yourself, on the healing part particularly, it'll kind of get you out of this wanting to hold on to this past and feeling incomplete and indecisive and ambivalent about what you want. Until you can get a good sense of you being yourself, you're going to continue to feel incomplete. You're going to feel indecisive. You're going to feel ambivalent because the things that you're looking for And the reasons why you're holding on to this past energy is because you don't feel sure of yourself, you know? And that's a tough place to be in. Like, you have boundaries up, like I said, because you're like kind of pushing people away right now. Because I feel like, yeah, it's good to have good boundaries, and this card talks about that. But I feel like your boundaries right now are walls, and they're designed to keep people out because there's a fear of being hurt right now. Yeah. I feel like this says eye candy, but I feel like the energy I'm getting off this card is you're somebody that is not very confident in how you look. I feel like you're not seeing yourself clearly. I feel like physically you are a very beautiful person, but you're not seeing yourself that way. So you have this kind of almost like, I call it pretty girl, ugly duckling syndrome. Like, you're a very beautiful girl, but you still feel like an ugly duckling inside. And so your physical beauty doesn't necessarily translate because of how you feel about yourself. Because I feel like, you ever see people and their beauty just exudes every ounce of their pores to the point that, like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, the other person is beautiful on the inside, or I mean on the outside. Like, you can see, and they're physically striking, but it's something about their energy that is so beautiful that it just makes their outer appearance appear even more beautiful. Like, that's the energy I'm getting off of you. Like, that's where you could be when you heal. Because I feel like physically on the outside, you're a very beautiful person, but that's not translating as much as it could because of the wounding and the needing to heal. Because, like I said, I feel very clearly like your heart feels like you have chains on your heart. Like, you have locked your heart down. And that's another reason why you're holding on to this past energy, because it's a way of feeling emotionally, or um, I want to say emotionally connected to somebody without you really having to be vulnerable, because this is not going to ever give you what you want. It's a way of keeping yourself safe. Like I said, I feel like you're trying to keep yourself self safe from heartache. But at the end of the day, you're not actually putting yourself out there because you're afraid. Yeah, so this self neglect makes a lot of sense because, like I said, the energy I'm feeling is that, um, not only in this past breadcrumbing relationship, you were neglecting your needs in relationships, but I feel like you're neglecting your needs with your most important relationship, which is yourself. Like, you're not loving yourself. And so your self neglect is very apparent. I can feel it in your energy. Like I say, you don't have that full sense of self worth. Like, I feel like you're almost like you're hiding your mask, and it's not all masks we wear are bad. When we think of masks, a lot of times we think of narcissists. Excuse me, but not all masks are bad. Like, sometimes, like, I mean, like, you're at work, and sometimes you have to wear a mask to get through the day. Maybe you're having a bad day, and you really aren't feeling like you rather be at home in bed, but you gotta, like, do your job, so you have to kind of mask up a little bit. I feel like that's kind of, you're more on that side of the masking than it is like you're being a whole different other person. But I feel like you're masked in the sense that you're hiding your true self because you haven't learned who your true self is, because you've been kind of stuck in this place of, like, knowing, like I said, knowing that you need to do the work, but at the same time being very fearful of what you'll find. You're afraid of tapping into Pandora's box, because I mean it is very scary healing because once you start tapping into dormant old unhealed wounds, it can feel like you're never going to get to a point where you're not feeling destabilized emotionally. And I feel like that's kind of what you're afraid of. Like you're afraid of being in destabilized for long periods of time while you're healing. But it's it takes however long it takes for you to feel destabilized emotionally while you're healing. Like it's part of the process, unfortunately. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like you've been very closed off. Like your energy has been shut down and your boundaries have been turning into walls. And like I said, we always want to have boundaries because boundaries are our way of expressing our self-love, but it's also our way of showing other people how to treat us. But don't don't find yourself becoming too unsocial because I feel like a part of you is kind of like hiding inside of yourself, which is part of that self neglect that is coming through. Like you're hiding within yourself, but at the same time, you're not healing yourself. So you're kind of like you're just trying to protect yourself. Like I get that very clearly. Like you're very defensive emotionally because you're afraid. Like it's a lot of fear here. I'm picking up a lot of like energetic fear of being vulnerable, of putting yourself out there, of tapping into stuff that feels uncomfortable to you, but you're at some point you'll have to because I mean otherwise you'll just kind of be stuck in a cycle of indecision and insecurities and yeah, see, like I said, you're still holding on to somebody from the past who is very much emotionally unavailable. And I feel like at this point they're physically unavailable to you too. But there's something there that still feels safe to you. And that has to do with your wounding that you have going on. This not feeling good about yourself makes you feel connected to people who reflect that back to you. And in a lot of ways, you are emotionally unavailable, even to yourself, because you're not being your authentic self because this fear's got you got you a little bit in a chokehold. A little bit of a, you know, a little bit got you in a chokehold. Yeah. It says body shame, but like I said, I don't get the feeling that you necessarily feel shame about your body, but I just feel like you don't feel comfortable in your own skin. And it's not your physical appearance that's the problem. It is how you feel about yourself that makes you feel kind of disconnected from your body. And that's kind of like very much in touch with your subconscious card needing to address a grounding deficit, a sense of feeling disconnected from one's physical body in the present moment. So that this body shame card really touches on your grounding deficit issue, like your subconscious, because like I said, I'm really getting the feeling that um, you're just not sitting in your feelings. And when you're not sitting in your feelings, meaning you're not able to express your full range of emotions, you're going to feel disconnected from your body. You're going to feel like you're not grounded in yourself. So part of being able to be grounded in yourself is being able to experience the full range of your emotions, even if they scare you. So whoever you are, um, I said divine feminine, but it's given feminine energy because I'm not quite sure feeling that you're in your divine feminine energy yet, but you could be there with this with the work. But I do feel like you are aware of spiritual practices. I feel like you have some small semblance of spirituality. Maybe you're getting readings, you're watching readings, you do meditation or you do some yoga, you do some breath work, but you're still doing a lot of spiritual bypassing because you haven't tapped down into those feelings of inadequacy, of low self-worth, of low self-esteem, of not feeling like you're good enough. You haven't really tapped into the full range of your emotions. Like I said, you're still kind of needing to go through an ego death, but I feel like you're afraid of it and you've been kind of a little bit running from it, not full on like sprinting, but you are still avoiding doing the work to a great sense. And I mean, there's no judgment there because we all have our journeys and it's tough. Like I said, I really understand being here, and I've been here before in this exact same energy, so I understand like how hard it is to let go of things that are comfortable and things that make you feel secure, but you know they're not real security because this, like I said, whoever this former energy or former person you were with, you weren't getting much out of it. Yeah. So you have to risk getting hurt. You have to risk putting yourself out there. You have to risk doing the work on yourself. Because if you don't put yourself out there, at least to yourself first and foremost, before you try to embark on a new relationship, you have to allow yourself to get hurt by yourself because you're going to have to dig into and look at this wounding and this low self-esteem because otherwise, like I say, you're going to keep yourself in a walled off emotionally, dealing with people. And when you do open up, you're only going to open up to people who are going to just basically compound the hurt and the pain and the wounding. And that's usually what happens is we get so defended. And then when we do meet somebody and we feel a connection with them, we find out later that the reason why we feel that spark with that person is because they're reflecting all of the things that already feel comfortable to us. People who make you feel like you're not good enough, people who breadcrumb you, people who make you feel like you have to jump through fiery hoops in order to have their affection and a love. And nobody should have to feel like that in love. Like, no, that's not love. That's people using you and then just doing just enough to keep you around so they can keep using you is what breadcrumbing is. Yeah, see, like I say, you're suffering from a lot of negative self thoughts when you're telling yourself, "Oh, there's no good men out here, and everybody leaves me, and I just wind up single and by myself anyway, so I might as well just be defensive and keep this wall up." But the reason why you're not finding any good ones and everyone leaves you is because you're abandoning yourself. So people are literally doing to you in relationships what you're doing to your inner child right now. Like you have abandoned your inner child, and so since you're already abandoning doing self abandonment, that's what everybody else that comes into your life does. They just reflect back to you in a mirror what you're already doing to yourself, unfortunately. So see, we can get you some couple more cards and then we'll end this reading because I feel like there's enough here for you to like kind of understand like where to go from here. I think like you would really benefit from a good therapist, somebody that you can talk to and really start unpacking. And like I say, with therapy, the good thing about therapy is that you can unpack trauma slowly. A good therapist will walk you through slowly the areas that you need healing in, and you don't have to do it like healing's not overnight. So but it's would be good for you to start with therapy because I think that'll help you a lot on the self-esteem stuff. Because like I feel like you're not dealing with a whole bunch of heavy trauma. You're just dealing with low self-esteem for the biggest part. What I can see here, like you have a lot of self-esteem related issues more than it is like heavy duty trauma. I know, Matt, you're human. You're here on this life. There is some trauma, but I'm not picking up a bunch of heavy trauma. I'm just picking up you just need guidance in how to come into self love. And a good therapist will help you with that. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, fear touch. Like that's probably a big thing for you because you don't feel safe. In order to be able to let somebody touch you, even in a non-romantic sense, to be comfortable with touch and affection, you have to be comfortable in yourself. You have to be comfortable with that vulnerability of letting people touch you, not just romantically, but even when friends and different energetically touch you. That fear of touch is stemming from the low self-esteem and not feeling comfortable in yourself and not feeling comfortable opening yourself up. But like I say, I feel like you're somebody that you just need therapy. Like you just need some therapy to help you start digging into the self-esteem issues. And once you start doing that, you'll find a lot of this like kind of circular negative thoughts will start lifting. You'll start feeling better about yourself. It'll help you be a better judge of character because that's part of why you're kind of walled off is because you don't trust yourself to pick the right people, because the people you do pick wind up perpetuating your own lack of self-worth, your own negative self-thoughts. So like I said, it just reinforces your fears. But the problem isn't necessarily, well, I mean, yeah, it is the relationships you've been in, but you see what I'm saying? Like they only can reflect how you feel back to yourself. And once you start healing, you will start bringing in people that you don't have to be insecure around, that you don't have to be feeling incomplete around. You don't have to get crumbs around. You don't have to be afraid of them violating your boundaries and, not feeling good enough and being emotionally unavailable. You don't have to worry about, getting hurt and feeling like everybody leaves you and that you have to be afraid to touch, because you'll be comfortable and you will have established some healthy boundaries for yourself because you'll understand yourself and what makes you feel comfortable and what you'll have a good sense of your boundaries, the healthy ones. But yeah, like you seem like a pretty good person. You're just you're afraid. There's a lot of fear. Like I said, I can literally feel your fear of being hurt. Like it's taking me back to the period of my life when I was in this energy. And it's a heavy energy because you want to be loved. Like I feel like you're somebody that has a big heart and you have a lot of love to give. Your heart, just part of your heart is shut down because of fear and low self-esteem. But I feel like I say, get a good therapist. Start with good therapy work because I feel like in order to get to the next part of your spiritual evolution, you're going to have to do the self work. So you're going to have to start with a good therapist because you can only get so far spiritually if you haven't done spiritual work, if you haven't done the psychological work. So start with a psychologist and a good therapist, a good counselor, and start slow. But find you a good one that helps you with self esteem. But I feel like you got a good you got a good start somewhere in here. Like I feel like if you can just get out of this negative self-talk pattern that you have, this low self-esteem, that once you do that, your life will open up and it will be beautiful in a way that you can imagine. But you got to do the work. Like you just need to start on the self-work. That's all this. Like I said, I'm not feeling anything bad. Like there's no truly negative energy here besides the fear, and it's got you in a bit of a, like I said, it's strangling me a little bit. Like I'm like having a little bit of heart palpitations because I'm just like it's triggering a little bit, and because I feel like I can really feel your energy in that way. But other than that, you got something here to work with. You gotta take a leap of faith on yourself. You gotta jump out. Sorry, that's confirmation. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the reading here and be blessed.